We're living in a world where, with constant flow of information most of the time, that the stream of information rushes past the truth. I call that the swipe generation, where people just swiping information and they want to have the headlines. And I think that's also creating a lack of in-depth thinking that could lead us to more optimization of many things. So a society's resilience is not determined by the speed of its financial recovery, but by the depth of its commitment to mend the fractured spirits of its people. So I had a very strong spiritual practice when I was growing up, because I would see my mom coming back home with light popping out of her eyes, almost floating. And I would ask her, like, where are you coming from? I don't know where you're coming from, but take me there. I wanted to live the full experience, especially because I was already practicing a spiritual life. I was meditating, I was doing the work. And then splitting between architecture and music. This is a quote by Alexandra L. that I love, because she quotes in her book, How We Heal, that when we heal ourselves, we heal our lineage, and healing is an act of community care. These are some of the things that kind of link psychedelic with design that is implemented, and you'll see it through my work, because I want to present a little bit of the work that I do as an architect. But I hear some bullet points about psychedelics as catalyst for creativity and change. I had the fortune of working with Dr. Joyce Braverman here in Mexico. She's an MD, and I would highly recommend, if someone is listening from Mexico, to reach out. She's amazing. And as I started from the beginning, if I don't improve myself as a human being, how could I improve what I'm doing as an architect or with cities? This is a little bit of a diagram that how we use to work in our office. And with everything that is going on, as I explained on the first slide, that there's so much information going on. It's like, what catches our attention? When we have that attention, how do we select that information? And then how do we adapt it for projects that we're doing? So as an architect, designing for impact, the role of architecture in nurturing thriving communities. So we wanted to create something where, again, besides the experience of going to a movie theater, which again, it was designed for that. This is how it used to look. There you see the asphalt and the cars. We took away all the cars, and this is how it looks now. So it's full of people. It becomes this green space and places for people to thrive. The space now houses theater, music, concerts. So besides being the Film Institute again as a platform for giving opportunity for other things to happen. So you'll start understanding the link of what I was trying to talk about, what I have understood as a human being for my spiritual practice, but also working on myself with psychedelic therapists to even break old habits or patterns or beliefs that I think no longer serve me. And I want to really change. So I want to connect more with the communities that I'm working with. And of course, by the time we're living. I also talk a lot about from tradition to innovation, the synergy of technology with local craftsmen. That we did for a company, that a department store here in Mexico that normally closes its facades to the outside, and it's becomes a warehouse. And I wanted them to open it up. Why are you closing? Why are we seeing just this big facade that doesn't do anything? Can there be kind of this connection from the inside out? And also the craft. We're very, very found on the craft in Mexico, because you have amazing workers that can do these by hand instead of having a CNC machine cutting it like other companies in different places. You see the workers doing this amount of beautiful work. You're connecting to the humans that you're working with also, because I always talk about, it's not the work that you do, but it's also how you do the work. Are you recognizing, are you giving them the recognition and the importance of them working with you as a team? And so the results end up being farther more than just the building. Understanding, for instance, that architecture or the things that we design are also a political act. Designs continually shape our environments, and each choice carries political implications. So in the moment we arrived in Arkansas with a client, he put us on bicycles, and we went on a bicycle tour, and he showed us all that's going on with the bike trails. And by the time we came back, we said, we need to do a bikeable building. We need to do a building that people can ride up in their bikes, because this is a community that really engage and they love working in bicycles. Here in this building, the retail can be in any floor, because now you can transit from the street to the 6th floor, walking or biking and having a great experience. They're carrying jewels And they're carrying jewels because at the top of the building, they write this text that says, now is better, which is this whole theory that Stefan is talking about now, that the time we're living today is much better than before. The world's first bikeable building, and the community has embraced it in a beautiful way. We talk a lot about sustainability, but to me, there's a lot of things that are not sustainable anymore. So I think we're on this cruise ship by companies that sell us the sustainability, but I think we need to talk about regenerative, because if we try to sustain the actual model, we know where we're heading. We know it's the wrong way to go. But again, we try to understand each project by going there and understanding the context and knowing the craft that is local. I think it's very important the way we learn from nature and celebrate it. We are having a little bit of ideas from Gilitla in San Luis Potosí. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend that you visit Gilitla. Edward James, this English person that was living there, creating all these surreal structures that are now covered with vegetation. So my client wanted to have something that was low maintenance, but that the structure expressed its actual geometry. So these geometries start creating these elements that now give form to this house that cantilevers from the ground, the less footprint possible, letting nature kind of embrace it and take over, and just go over a little bit of the canopies. Can we do something bigger than just a Philharmonica? Can we extend the wave breaker and fix it for the fishermen to come back? Can the Philharmonica extend its materials to the outside in this sense of generosity to create plazas? So instead of the street being very different, and then you enter something a little bit nicer, the nice stone that was inside the building now pours out. So the streets are made in granite. The orchestra started appearing with hard hats and with vests, dressed as the construction workers, to give the first concert to the construction workers. So it was recognizing the other, acknowledging who the workers were, thanking them for building this beautiful project for the Philharmonica. The project also has a one specific condition, that everything that is played inside can be heard outside for free. So, I mean, I love to say that architecture is not just about buildings, but it's about the people that inhabit them, the hands that build them, the lives they touch, and what they can give back to the communities. We need to reconnect to time, and we need to reconnect that we don't have to go at the speed that everybody is going. Also, this thing that I talk to my daughter a lot, I find it absurd that as a society, people tell us, go to nature and reconnect to nature. Like if we were disconnected. We've always been nature. This is a reminder that we're not apart from nature, but a part of nature. May our design be the act of recognition and as the respect of all members of society, paving the way for a more connected and compassionate world.